Hello, and welcome to the first episode of our new series, End of Days Play, where we give you a lowdown of the top 5 talking points from today's match, which was between the Delhi Capitals and the Kings XI Punjab. In this episode, we're also going to touch upon yesterday's game between Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians, and we will offer you our predictions on tomorrow's match between the Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. So, Naj, I think you'd agree with me. It was a fascinating game to watch today. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the seesawing battle between the two teams. What do you have for us?
Yes, Suren, I can't agree with you more. What more can we ask for when you have a super over finish in the second game of the tournament? So here is the match summary. Kings XI Punjab won the toss and invited Delhi to bat first. After a shaky start, their captain Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant stabilized the innings very well and paved the way for a very strong finish by Marcus Stoinis, who ended up with a half century himself. And that actually propelled their total to 157 for the loss of 8 wickets in the 20 overs. For the bowling from the Kings XI Punjab, it was completely spearheaded by Mohammad Shami, who actually proved his quality by taking the 3 for 15, and then was ably supported by Cottrell and Ravi Bishnoi, the debutant, actually making a name for himself. In reply, Kings XI Punjab had a quiet start in their power play, but lost wickets in cluster. But their opener Mayank Agarwal stuck on and actually anchored his innings till the end for a well-made 89. It's very unfortunate he couldn't see the team through. On the bowling for Delhi, Ravi Ashwin actually ended up with 2 wickets in his solitary over, but was ably supported by Kagiso Rabada and Marcus Stoinis, who both chipped in with 2 wickets each. In the super over, it was all about Rabada, who took 2 wickets for just 2 runs, and that pretty much sealed the deal for Delhi Capitals. Okay, so having seen the match summary, we have some interesting talking points from this game. What do you have for us, Suren?
Well, I've got to agree with you. It's just the second day of the tournament, and it's already thrown up a few interesting facets. Let's talk about the top 5 talking points from today's game. What do we have at number 5, Ash?
Top order batting from both sides. Both sides have somehow struggled to capitalize the power play. It was Delhi who actually lost wickets up front, and in reply, Kings XI seemed to have a measured start, going slow and steady, but then again threw it away in pretty much the 5th over, and when the 6th over was bowled by Ashwin, he ended up with 2 wickets. So all in all, not a very fruitful power play for either side. And I think both sides will need to rectify that going forward.
Yeah, and especially watching the Delhi Capitals batsmen go about it in the beginning of their innings, it felt that there was a stark comparison between the Delhi Capitals top order and the Chennai Super Kings top order. If you look at the way they went about it, they showed the experience. They sort of gave respect to the bowlers who were bowling really good lines and lengths. They waited out, and as soon as they got a bit of opportunity to free up their arms, that's when they took their chances. In contrast to that, the Delhi top order, which has Prithvi Shaw, Shimron Hetmeyer, they had wonderful opportunities, but I think they did not see off the new ball. I think they probably chanced their arm one times too many, and ended up throwing away the wickets. So maybe yes, watching young players is exciting, but at the same time, CSK showed yesterday why they're so successful. Next point that we have talking point number 4. We've got the injury to Ashwin. It looked nasty on television when we were watching it. He went to try and dive and stop a ball off a shot played off Maxwell. To be honest, I think it was quite far away from him. I don't know how he would have reached it in any case, but really unfortunate to see him walking off accompanied by the physio. He was, you could see that he was physically in a lot of pain. He was grimacing a lot. And more than anything, I think it really, takes away a key player from the Delhi Capitals. He was key to their chances in the tournament. He's an experienced bowler, a match winner in his own right. He took 2 wickets in his first over, and to see him walking off in that fashion was really disheartening. And for the sake of the tournament and for Delhi Capitals, you hope that it's not a serious injury and he comes back soon.
Can't agree more. But one thing that we must remember, and that I believe Ashwin should remember and understand, is fielding is not his prowess. So he should never have gone diving after a ball. He probably was charged up after those 2 wickets that he took in the first 5 balls.
Possibly. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. Next is the brilliant innings, although contrasting in both sides. Marcus Stoinis coming in late and actually playing a cameo of an innings with a very explosive half century. And on the other side, in reply, Kings XI had an opener who actually anchored the innings pretty much till the end, Mayank Agarwal, who started off so slowly, but then picked up the pace when it was needed and ended up with almost a match winning innings of 89. How well did he accelerate? How well did he play around with his partners after having seen his top order pretty much give away the wickets cheaply? It was it was so heartening to see such a mature innings. And on the other hand, it actually gives BC a lot of confidence by actually playing Stoinis lower down and giving that power hitting option to finish the innings.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think from Stoinis' perspective, I think he had a fantastic day out. Chris Jordan had a nightmare of a day. I think he'd want to forget this day as soon as possible. He got tongued around by Stoinis during the Delhi innings. And then to add insult to injury, he only had to score 1 run off the last ball of the game. And he hit it straight to the square leg fielder. So Chris Jordan, a day to forget. But you've got to feel for Mayank Agarwal, and especially having weathering the storm at the beginning and the lovely innings that he played. It was so disheartening for him to end up on the losing side, which kind of leads me into the next talking point of the game: the incorrect call by the umpires, where they gave a 1-run shot in the 19th over for a run where for a double which Chris Jordan and Mayank Agarwal took. And the 1-run shot was called at Chris Jordan's end, and the replay showed that he was actually quite, well within the line. So again, I think it's one of those areas where the third umpire knew what was happening. He had the opportunity of looking at the replay. He could have intervened, but potentially, did he not intervene? Probably because of the rules of the game.
Cricket has pretty much been trying to address such issues where the glaring errors made on field can be corrected retrospectively by the third umpire. But yeah, I think it actually lacks flexibility in such aspects where this has never been done before and could have been done for the first time. It actually would not have changed the batsman changing strike or changing ends. So this could have been rectified, and you know what? That could have actually resulted in a Kings XI victory. So let's see how much goes on to impact both the teams' fortunes in the tournament later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And imagine if Kings XI finish 5th and lose out by 2 points or 1 point. Imagine what an impact it could have on them. So we head into the top talking point for the day. And what's that, Nags?
So both teams ended up on the same score. So that resulted in a super over. And what better exponent of bowling a super over than Kagiso Rabada? So Delhi Capitals would have actually recalled his exploits from the last edition's IPL against KKR, where he actually bowled very well. Yeah. And similarly, just living up to his reputation, he cleaned up the Kings XI batsmen by dismissing both KL Rahul and Nicholas Pooran for just 2 runs. And that pretty much sealed the deal for Delhi Capitals. So defending 3 runs was never a question for Kings XI.
Yeah, and it's probably also a little bit of an experience from Pooran trying to go for a slog, especially knowing that you've already lost KL Rahul. You know that if you get out, that's the end of the game. So at least you should have tried to bat out the over, try and score as many runs as possible rather than going for the glory hit, the first ball he faced.
You feel that Delhi Capitals had to go with Rabada, not only for the way how well he had bowled the super over in the last edition, but also that he was actually warmed up. He had actually just finished his spell in the actual game. And then that makes you wonder, why couldn't Kings XI have opened with Mayank Agarwal as well, who was warmed up? I understand he was tired, but then why bring in some batsman who is probably... I don't think any other batsman was seeing the ball as well as Mayank Agarwal in the game.
Yeah. In terms of player of the match, I was a bit surprised to see Kagiso Rabada being given the player of the match. Who would you have gone as your player of the game?
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see Rabada, to be honest. Yes, he had a fantastic super over, and yes, he had a very steady 4-over spell during his innings. but I feel both with the bat and the ball, Stoinis shined and actually made a telling impact. And therefore, for me, Marcus Stoinis should have been rightly been awarded the player of the match.
I couldn't agree more. And Stoinis must have been wondering what more does he need to do to get his hands on the player of the match award. But there you go. I think at the end of the day, he must just be elated to finish up on the endings, on the winning side. And overall, as a viewer, it was a fantastic game to watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed the game. Which leaves us with just about enough time to also have a quick chat about the game yesterday between CSK and the Mumbai Indians. It was a fabulous opener. The momentum swung both ways. Mumbai Indians came out aggressive. They came out swinging. They started off very well. Once Surya Kumar Yadav got out, I think they sort of lost the plot. They didn't try and sort of set themselves up a decent base and try and bat out the middle overs to give the push at the end. I think they went for the all aggressive approach, which ended up with them losing a number of wickets. And then the complete opposite is what happened in the Chennai innings. They lost a couple of wickets. Chennai showed the experience that they have. Rayudu and du Plessis, I think they absorbed the pressure. I think Rayudu was just in blazing form. I think he just had a complete the array of his experience that he was able to pull on a number of strokes. He was able to absorb the pressure. He attacked the right bowlers. He took on the spinners, and he basically set up the game for Chennai. And at the end, everyone is expecting to see MS Dhoni come out to bat when Rayudu fell. But Dhoni, as usual, pulled a trick. I think he wanted to keep the left-right balance going. So he then sent in Jadeja. And then when Jadeja went out, he sent in Sam Curran, who, if you remember, was my pick for the emerging player from CSK. And he showed why. I think he had a fantastic game yesterday. He took one wicket, was active in the field, took a couple of catches, and then came in the end, and then the quick fire 18 or whatever he got of 5 balls. I think that sort of sealed the game in Chennai's favor.
It was interesting to see the new personnel chip in straight away for CSK. And if you felt that the loss of Raina or Harbhajan is going to have an impact, they seem to have their bases covered. And people just chip in. Any newcomer just chips in. So it was interesting to see how well-oiled machinery of CSK was actually coming to its own.
Yeah, so we've got our predictions for tomorrow's game between Sunrisers Hyderabad and RCB. What do you think is going to happen?
We've actually covered this sufficiently in our preview show, what kind of a rivalry that SRH and RCB have, and how SRH has been a nemesis for RCB. Yeah. But I just have a feeling, I'll basically stick my neck out and say that RCB have a score to settle with SRH, and I think they're going to go all guns blazing tomorrow. And I think they'll come out on top tomorrow. But let's see.
There you go. Yeah. So that's a prediction for tomorrow's game. And that's it. That's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode. To everyone who's subscribed to our channel and watched our previous videos, thank you so much. We look forward to your continued support to continue to build this channel. If you like this episode, please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel to keep more videos coming your way. Thank you again for watching. Stay safe and stay blessed.